So my suggestion is to really look at your expenses and see if there's any way that you can trim your expenses and live lean. But what I would recommend is you definitely get into real estate now, but you have to develop a mindset, a dedication where you're going to basically be developing a mindset where you're going to understand how to use money to your advantage. So what I would recommend is picking up an asset, and picking up an asset that's going to allow you to receive a return that far exceeds the interest that you're paying on that debt. So if you're taking on debt that you're paying 8% a year, boy, you can accumulate find an asset that you're going to be getting a return about 65-80% return on your funds. And if you do it correctly, an infinite return. I prefer accumulating those assets, and then as you accumulate those assets, take the cash flow from those assets to then pay down your debt. A lot of times people fall into the big trap. Their income is directly correlated to their spending habits. So for me, I like to kind of live below my means. So as my income is increasing, every property, every asset, my spending is basically staying the same. So what I notice is that spread, that cushion that I'm able to receive on a monthly basis allows me to then accumulate more assets and get to my desired goal. So I recommend just practicing, just staying low until it's time to come up, as people say. But the key is to continue, just stick to the path, stick to the script of accumulating assets, accumulating cash flow, because that's what's going to give you that desired financial freedom that you're seeking. And what happens is, as your income increases, then your spending increases, you're never quite going to be able to grasp that feeling of financial freedom, because you're always going to be just hustling in order to pay and cover your lifestyle. So I'm still driving a 2010 Prius. I have two of them. I have a pickup truck and so forth. But I can go out at any moment to buy the Bentley. I know I can, but that's not in my car. That's not what I'm trying to do right now. Right now, I'm looking to acquire as many assets as possible to give me that pure financial freedom where I can just spend my time traveling the world. Right. So with good debt is using debt or leverage to acquire an asset where you don't have to come up with the whole cost of that asset. Let's say, for instance, we're buying something that's $1 million. I might only have to come up with $50,000 to control that asset. And now, yes, I do have to pay a mortgage. I got to pay interest and so forth. But the return that I'm getting by having that asset from rents should far exceed that monthly payment, allowing me to have a substantial amount of cash flow. Whereas bad debt, on the other hand, is something where I might be charging and spending money just to buy clothes or buy cars, things that aren't going to be directly correlated to me making money. So for instance, if I'm going into debt $10,000 just to buy 10 pairs of Balenciaga shoes, that's not going to do anything for me in the long run. That's not going to have residual income coming to me on a monthly basis. Whereas I can use good debt to buy an asset that's going to have that residual income coming to me month after month, month after month, year after year, century after century.